Yeah,
Chris, I think I have one of your masks too, by the way.
Oh, very nice.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have one of mine.
No,
I'm gonna get one, guys. Don't worry. I think I got this 2 years ago or something.
Let me see that again.
Around 2 hours.
Yep, that'd be about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Tony disappeared.
Did you see him? Okay.
I can kind of hear you.
He's frozen. He's frozen, but Tony, if it gets bad, you can always click the settings on your phone.
He already turned his bandwidth down already.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
He'll go off and come back.
Yeah, I got T-Mobile, man. Am I back?
Right.
T-Mobile
He's on the
sucks.
sticks.
You're back.
He's on the sticks in Arkansas, so that's why you keep losing.
I'm down here in Arkansas.
Oh, you're down
Oh,
in the Porta
damn.
Potty Peepers, are you?
Yeah. Well, Jill is in the other room pedaling for the electricity. Keep pedaling. Keep pedaling. Pedal faster. Damn. Pedal faster. Shit. So you said it's about 2 hours is what we're going to be doing?
Yeah.
All right. Hold my phone hose out.
Hey, Diablo, you know what I'm going to tell you?
What? Oh, damn it.
Oh, yeah. FS,
Pandora,
FS.
shut up. Wait, you know what? I would have totally got it if you wouldn't have double guessed me on the record thing, because you said you weren't going to say it.
I know, I lied. I apologize.
So instead of focusing on that, I went over there and I would have went full screen. So you guys messed that up.
It's all our fault.
Hey,
Whippersnapper. Choo choo.
I'm a man. We focus on one thing. And if someone changes the subject, we move to that one. We don't even think of what we were talking about. We move on. In my defense.
Looks like you lost everybody now.
In my defense, I'm just saying.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Hi, guys. Hi, Danny. Hey, J-Well. Hi, guys. Hi, Brian.
Oh, he's going to watch, but he won't post. Whatever.
Yeah.
Marie, hi.
All right, guys, this is Hunters Hangout. This is season 10, episode 5, I think. After Transworld, we kind of lost track of which episode it was, but we're gonna call it 5. And we got some amazing mask makers and sculptors, and we're going to have a great show. I hope everybody had a great time at Transworld. We had a blast, and we're gonna move it on to Pandora, and she's gonna tell us what you need to do to win the prizes for tonight from our sponsors.
Hey guys, welcome. Glad to have you back. Whirlwind week for most of us. Some of us are still recovering. Bear with us.
From the cred.
So in order to win a prize tonight, all you need to do is to ask a question in the chat of our guests, and you are automatically entered to win. Whether you've won prizes before or not, you are randomly in our list of folks that can win. If you could all mute your background for me there.
I think that was me. Sorry.
Thank you. Please make sure if I do call your name as a winner at the end of the night that you contact Diablo no later than, what did we say, Sunday or Saturday? I got cold medicine talking to me right now.
Saturday.
Okay. No later than Saturday, please. And he will get in contact with you again before Monday or by Monday. You do not need to tell him what you won. He will know what you've won. He just needs your email address and your physical address, and all will be well.
Yeah,
so,
if you want something, a physical prize, just give me your name, your address, your email, and your phone number. You know, don't contact me and say I won something. Just if you win something physical, make sure you have all that information. It makes it so much quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's a coupon code or a percentage off, he can just send that to you via Messenger. So,
Right.
So let's make this simple so that we all can enjoy the goodies. And if you have won something physical, please make sure you post that to the Hangout photos when you've got it. You're helping to support our sponsors, who we greatly, greatly appreciate. Thank you so, so much, sponsors, this year. It was so cool to see you all at Trans World.
Right.
We had a blast meeting all of you in person and taking the photos. And again, please go see our sponsors for all your haunt needs. And with that, Mr. Phil, would you like to introduce our guests this evening?
Yeah, did we want to go over the prizes they could win?
Oh, see? Cold medicine, guys.
They're gonna win one of us. They're gonna win one of us.
All right. Transworld crud. All right. Toxic effects. Thank you very much, Blake. We have a stack of jacks. Scarlet badges, 10 assorted badges. Horror ornaments, a bio skull, which is very cool. Fright Night Studios, Shrunken Pumpkin. 916 Productions, $25 off. Halloween Shirt Company, a free shirt. Froggy's Fog, a gallon of bog fog. Ned's LEDs, a five-pack sampler. Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off. Nightmare Makers, 2 unfinished skulls. Sam Haines, a free music download. Atmos Effects, free download. Fright Props, $25 off. Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms. Monsters Alive, $25 off. And from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, a grab bag surprise gift. Thank you again so much to all our sponsors. So happy to meet some of you all at Trans World. And with that, Phil.
Hum, 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 hum.
Would you like to take it over and introduce our guests tonight, sir?
Yes. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's been fun. It's been a long 2 weeks since we've been back here. For me, it's been 3. But it's great to be back, and we have an awesome panel here for you guys tonight. If you're into sculpting, mask making, body for whatever any clay work, basically. We got all your answers, or all your experts here for you to get your answers or questions answered. God, here we go. It's starting again. Choo-choo.
Cold medicine.
Yeah.
Cold medicine.
Oh, man. But first off, we got Jim. Jim, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Jim Brown. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Yay! Best ever. Yes.
I'm Movable Jaws here in Evansville, Indiana. I make masks and props, and I think that's it. Masks and props.
How'd you get started?
How long? Yeah, how'd you get started and how long?
I've been doing it for about 20-something years. I don't remember exactly. It's all kind of a blur at this point. But it was a Halloween party. We do a Halloween party every year, and I would make most of the decorations and costuming and stuff for me and my wife. It kind of just took off from there. With eBay, and eBay went to website to Midwest Haunters Convention, and then that snowballed to Trans World, and now here I am.
All your inspiration started with a Halloween party. That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I've always been a Halloween person, just like the rest of us, and horror movies and all that. And I would start usually July 5th after the 4th of July holiday, and I'd start making stuff for the party. Kind of a way to stretch out the holiday instead of just a month. It was from July to October. And then I got lucky enough that I was in the same town as Kevin Alvey from Gore Galore, and he's been a pretty big help as far as helping me get stuff off the ground and showing me how to do this and that.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
You have to hang on a minute. I got to pick up that name I dropped.
Oh, yeah. Wow, so you went from July to October to now 24/7 every day, basically.
Every day, every waking minute of my life.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we'll come back and show some of your work there, Jim. Next up, we got Chris.
Hello. How's it going? So let's see. When did I start doing this? I was born on Halloween, luckily enough.
What?
And
so jealous.
Yeah. One of my first memories is dressing up as Godzilla in like a paper mache costume, and I wanted to be him when I got older. Still kind of do. I remember making costumes like the Shredder out of like, tin foil and cardboard and all that stuff. And, as I went through school and shit, as I went through school, I basically wanted to really sculpt. And I got into doing metal casting and metal sculpture as well as stone carving. The problem was I sucked at mold making. Absolutely horrible at it. Everything looked like an abomination when it came out. So from there, I was like, yeah.
I apologize for the interruption. I just wanted to let you know that we are perfectly comfortable with you cussing and shit. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, sweet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that
Please
too.
continue. Tell us more about you.
No, so, the thing is I have ADHD and I need instant gratification. Stone carving is not ideal for that. It takes like 3 months to do one project. It's awful. So when I got into doing mask making and prop making as well as costumes, I needed a material that I could work with, sort of like building armor. I could work with it and it would be done. There wasn't another step. So I found thermoplastic. And basically through about 7 years of practicing with thermoplastic, I was able to utilize designs that I had done in real steel and armor making to mask making. And then from there, I realized with thermoplastic, it's a lot like friendly plastic. You can sculpt it to different shapes and it adheres to itself when it's hot. And then it dries solid. So I'm lucky in the fact that I don't have to do the casting aspect and the mold making, but the sculpting aspect is still the same. But I started the business in 2017 at Midwest Haunters Convention. Last year it was in Columbus. And I did really well, and it took off from there, and I took the risk, went to Trans World, and here I am.
Hey, Chris, what was that business of yours?
Oh, I'm sorry. Polaris Breach FX.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. We'll come back and show some of that thermoplastic mask you make. And next up, we got Tony.
I feel like
What
there
up,
should have been a drum roll there.
Yeah, I know. Dremel.
What up? Tony with the big logo. Tony with the big logo.
There you go. Some fanfare.
What's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm Tony Buck, Tony Buck Effects Studios. Basically, we used to have a Halloween party, and I'd start about July 5th.
Hey,
I would start, decorating and everything.
what the hell?
I hooked up with the guys from Gorgalore, and so they kind of helped show me the
Man, that's an incredible story.
Oh my God, it sounds just like Jim. Okay, no, for real. I do kind of have the same story as Jim, but like instead of a Halloween party, I used to go all out for Halloween. I just loved Halloween so much. Never got one trick-or-treater at my house. We live way out in the country. But I would just, I just loved Halloween, and I'd always buy my masks for my costume from Horror Dome, and they would get and I would do a different mask every year, different costume. And then the next year I would retire that previous year's costume on like a mannequin. And I would have all these different props around my house, like twisty and stuff like that, So then I remember I used to watch Alan Hops and guys like that on YouTube, trying to learn how to make something from nothing pretty much, because I didn't have a big budget back then. And so I was like, just pretty much I watched a video about how to make it look like you cut yourself, like a prosthetic, and so I got some clay, never sculpted nothing in my life, got some clay, started doing that. And then I had a buddy of mine, I was like, hey man, can you make me a Twisty the Clown mask? I was like, dude, that's not like this big. Like, there's no way I could sculpt that. And so I tried it, and ended up, he won like a Halloween costume contest or something at a casino wearing this mask. And he was like, he paid me. And I was like, I didn't even expect payment. I just did it for fun of it. And then I just remember he gave me this, like, I think it was like $40 something. I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, I just got paid to do something that, yeah, I was just having fun, just partying in my shop. I'm like, wow, I just got paid for this. Screw the man. I'm gonna start doing this. So then, like, it just took off from there. Like Jim said, I'd put some on eBay, and then I just started selling, and then making bigger masks and bigger, and then half masks and full head, and it just really snowballed. I've been doing it like I think I'm going on 6 or 7 years now.
Nice.
So I quit cutting my hair the day I left the man, working for the man. I used to be an insurance agent.
And it looks very pretty.
Yeah. So that's my timeline right there, man. Like,
Wow. Nice.
that's the day but that's pretty much it, you know. And now that's what I do full time. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wouldn't want to do
Good for
anything
you.
else. It was
Good for
a dream of mine. I can't say that. It was my dream. I didn't necessarily think I was going to be doing mask making, but I always dreamed about. I wanted to be a special effects artist when I got older. You know, that was my dream. I thought I was going to be making.
Watching the Thriller, making the Thriller video with Rick Baker, and I remember watching that as a kid, thinking this is what I'd really like to do. I think.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
See, E.T. was it for me. I watched E.T. and then the guys like down under the table with the little.
Right.
The puppeteers and all, and then they were, making the latex skin and then the animatronics and all this. And I was like, that is the coolest job in the world right there.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say I'm living the dream, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My dream, anyway.
I'm sure your dream's a lot of other people's too.
Yep.
Yeah. I do get that a lot.
Yeah. I'd like to, for 1 second, reserve a question for the panel from Edie. This will be for the whole panel when we get there. What is the one prop you've seen made by someone else that you wished you had thought of first? So we're going to reserve that one. Give it some thought, and we'll come back to it. All right, Phil.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll bring it back up to the top here and show some sculpting, as that's what the show is about. So, Jim, we got some pumpkins here. Pumpkin stack. I'm not sure. What do you call this exactly?
Stack-o'-lantern.
Stack-o'-lantern. That's what
Nice.
So, how much clay did you end up using in this guy?
I don't know exactly, but I know it was really, really heavy.
Really heavy.
Yeah, it was a foam armature. I bought some foam off Amazon. The blocks of foam were like that, I think, and I glued them all together because I kind of had an idea of the shape I wanted, and I knew it was going to be heavy because I sculpt with primarily wet clay, which is pretty heavy, and then I just covered it. But as I covered it, I realized didn't trim the foam enough here and didn't trim enough there, so I kept having to cut the clay off to trim a little bit more to get the size that I wanted. But it was heavy. I bet it was probably maybe 100, 150 pounds of clay, possibly.
Now,
Yeah,
Jim, can you touch on wet clay and why you choose to use wet clay?
Wet clay, it's just I don't know, because it's soft and it's easy to sculpt with, and I can sculpt really well. I can't sculpt really fast. I'm not a very fast sculptor, but I can sculpt faster with it than I can. I used to use Roma, which is oil-based. It stinks, smells real bad, and it's hard as a rock. You got to heat it before you can cover your armature with it. And wet clay is just super quick. Just stick it on and start shaping it out. That's why I like it.
Now, I'm a noob when it comes to clay and sculpting and everything, but is this the clay that I guess when back when I was in high school, you could cover it with a garbage bag, and then when you're ready to work on it again, you could spray it with some water and kind of comes back to life? Okay.
I cover mine with, I'll take a wet t-shirt or old t-shirts and get them wet and wrap them up and then cover it with a trash bag, because sometimes I'll walk away from them for weeks before I come back and work on them again. And I have had them dry out, but a lot of times you can bring them back if you let them dry all the way out. I got one right here that was supposed to go to Transworld, and I didn't get it done. And luckily somebody asked me about it, and I checked it, and it was dry and crack and falling apart. But it's okay now. I got it wet and wrapped it up, and it's going to be okay. I can save it.
So after you've already sculpted your design, obviously it goes into making the mold now. What do you use to make your mold?
Usually I use plaster. I'll use either just a #1 white plaster, or I use UltraCal 30, which I think most people are familiar with. And then this one, because of the size, I knew the mold would weigh 200 pounds if I would have used plaster. So this is fiberglass mold.
Was this your first time doing fiberglass?
No, the aliens that I make, they're fiberglass, and then I got a couple fiberglass molds. I got a couple other pumpkins, and just they're lighter. They last forever. They're very durable. They don't lose detail like plaster does, but they are very toxic to make and expensive, but worth it.
Chad would like to know, what are your top 2 favorite sculpting tools that you can't live without?
My top 2, this and this.
Nice.
Without these, I couldn't do nothing. Most of my sculpting tools are Kemper tools with wooden handle. I like wooden handle tools for some reason, and I've got some homemade tools that I made they're made out of guitar strings and some rakes. I use the rakes more than anything, probably.
Right. So when you do fiberglass, do you just? I know there's like some kind of mesh you put in with the fiberglass. Do you like mix it up and coat it first, and then start adding fiberglass, or I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, there's a mixture you have to do to where you can get it to where it makes it runny enough that you can. What you do, they call beauty coat, which is what you put on your sculpture first, and it picks up all the detail. And then after it sets, then you have to come back. It's just kind of like doing body work on a car. You have to take your fiberglass matting and you soak it with fiberglass resin, and you lay it on there and cover it. You got to do that a couple of layers and build up a nice thickness to it.
So you let that set. Do you let the first coat set for a minute, or you do it right afterwards?
Yeah. Well, it sets pretty quick, so it doesn't take very long. On the babies, I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the alien baby that I took to Transworld. The bodies, we used to have the bodies made. A girl actually lives here in my neighborhood that makes wedding dresses. She was sewing bodies for me, and then we'd stuff them. And I decided to sculpt a baby body so I could start making them here. And this is a fiberglass mold. When I made the front half of the mold, came out perfect. It looked so good, I thought somebody else made it because I'm not a great mold maker. When I flipped it over, I added too much of the resin the activator in the resin. And it was like 1,000 degrees that day, and it causes the stuff to kick faster. So it looked nasty and lumpy when I got it done, but I kept going with it and was able to fix it.
Mike would like to know, how many poles can you expect to get from
How many what?
Poles.
I don't know. I've been told that the plaster molds start to lose their detail pretty quick, but I've got some that I've been using for years. Like the Stitches Clown that I make it's pretty bad these days, but I've been using it for years and it's still holding up. But the Voodoo dolls, I am getting ready to remold those. And I noticed that the one that I made for my wife when I first started making them, compared to one that I brought back from Transworld, you can definitely see a difference in the detail. I mean, a pretty big difference in the detail between the original and the ones that I made for Transworld. They still look good, but I did a burlap texturing on it originally, and some of that burlap texturing is starting to disappear in the newer ones.
And then now we got the finished product here. So this is awesome. This is so cool. It came out so cool. I mean, I saw it in firsthand at Transworld, and damn, this thing is awesome. Now, when you go into detailing this, do you do dry brushing? Are you using like a clear coat on the stem there to make it shiny? Is that kind of the idea behind this?
I do a dark color base coat first with, like the latex paint mix, and spray them all dark. And then we come back and dry brush them with lighter colors. We start with like a really, really bright orange, and then another orange on top of that, and then another orange. And then the stem it's almost a green color, but when you put it on top of the dark like that, it changes it and it causes it to look kind of brown. I would like to point out that my wife painted all these pumpkins, and she did a really good job and saved my ass because we are only going to have 2, and she ended up doing the third one for me the morning before we left for Transworld, and I think she did an excellent job.
Nice. When you're doing the casting and stuff, What do you use to do it to make it hollowed out like that?
Yeah, how do you get hollow in the middle?
I do a latex skin first, and then I will use Flex Foam 5, and I go in and smear it around and get it everywhere I want it, which causes it'll make it hold its shape when I pull it out of the mold. And then before I cut the face out, then I take foam at 10. I think it's foam at 10 or foam at 5, which is a rigid foam, and I coat the inside of it with that, and I mostly on the back. That way, when I cut the face, it doesn't go because it's too soft. It helps it hold its shape and gives it structure on the inside.
Oh, so you just kind of brush it in so it's not filling, but it's still the wall.
I order those long plastic gloves that you see farmers use for you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying. We know what you're saying.
I'll put a rubber band around it down here on the end so it stays in place, and I'll mix my foam up and dump it in there, and then I just kind of smear it around. It's kind of a learning curve to that because if you don't do it just at the right time, the foam won't stay where you want it. It kind of falls back into the lower part, and if you do it too late, well, then it causes the foam to kind of collapse and lose its, I don't know what you call it, but it loses some of its density or adds its density.
Right.
So it's a little tricky.
Bob C. would like to know if you make mother molds so that you always have your work in case one breaks.
A master, though? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I believe that's what he means.
Yeah, usually here lately, since I started doing more wholesale stuff, I'll do a master mold like the little alien I made. I did an Ultra Cal master mold of the head and the hands and the feet, and then I'm going to come back and recast it in a white plaster because production is way faster on white plaster, and then keep the mother, or not the mother, but the master mold. So if I have to recast it, because I'm sure I will, that the white plaster won't last that long.
And then obviously you get into mask making, right? So when did you make this guy?
That actually is the Stitches mask I was talking about earlier. A guy named Tony Giles, I think is how you say it. I said Giles for forever, but I think it's Giles. He used to commission a lot of stuff, and one summer he commissioned several clowns. He had a home haunt that he would do in Plano, Texas, and I mean he went all out, and he did a Ferris wheel, or not a Ferris wheel, but a merry-go-round and ticket station, and it was really pretty impressive. But I made that one. I don't remember what year it was, but it was a few. I made that one and several other clowns for him as masks. And this one here actually is not a mask. This is a prop. It's got the foam on the inside of it, and then you cut the foam out, and I've got teeth. I've got acrylic teeth that I come in then and glue it into the foam and then add gore around it and splatter it with blood. So that right there is actually not a wearable item.
Now, when you fill these up, is there like a certain ratio you should do so they don't burst the head? Because I think I've done that once with one of my latex masks and I destroyed it. It just broke it through a seam.
Well, most of mine I do while they're still in the mold.
Oh,
so
okay.
if it rises out, it just rises out of the
hole. Okay.
Where you dump your stuff in. But I don't completely foam fill much anymore because the price of foam has gone through the roof here in the last couple of years, and so I'll do just a skin of foam on the inside, and it gives it structure like foam fill, but it doesn't cost as much that way.
I'm glad you said that, Jim, because Chad did say, do you do foam and fiberglass mold, then paint on a latex coat, or do you paint latex in the mold, then foam fill prior to pulling?
Yeah, I've painted in, because you can't dwell fiberglass the same way you can stone because it's not porous. So you have to do it in thin layers, and then you got to let that dry, and then another, until you get the thickness that you want, and then you foam over the top of that.
Oh, this guy's cool.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
How do you make the teeth for this guy?
Those are resin teeth, so same way. Sculpted them first, and then I made a silicone mold, and then I pour resin into the silicone so I can make multiples. Same way I made the teeth that I dropped on the floor. These sculpt them first, and then you make a silicone mold. You got to have silicone for a rigid material like that, so you can get it out. You don't get the undercuts won't hold it in place. That's based off of a Resident Evil background creature. Somebody commissioned that.
Nice.
And then what do you use for the mesh around the eyes there? I see that one has some.
Actually, somebody posted, I don't know what it's called exactly. It was either on this page or Latex Mask Central. Somebody was making skulls, and they put it in their skulls, and I thought it was pretty cool. I was using some real cheap material.
Oh wow, it's really dark.
It didn't go in very well, and they posted a link which went to S.10, and it's a company that makes the mesh that you put into college sports mascots. So it can actually be painted also. The rabbit mask that I made this year, it's the same stuff. I just paint the eyes onto it. You can still see through it, but it has the eyes, which is kind of cool, I think.
Well, that is.
Huh.
Yeah, you can see. I don't know if you can see it.
And what do? You build up the latex around that or something?
Yeah, I just glue it in.
Just
glue
glue
it to it.
Okay.
Yeah, cut the hole out and then glue the stuff on there. I don't use rubber cement like a lot of guys use. I use, for this particular application, I just use crazy glue, because crazy glue works really good with latex. It gets hot. It bonds so well.
I know I'm going to ask this to the other members of the panel here, but Jim, how many times do you find yourself going through iterations as far as like you start with one design, kind of come back the next day and you're like, oh, why did I do it that way? And, how many times you see yourself changing your design once you've started?
You mean like the actual sculpture or?
Yeah, sculpture. Yeah, sorry, going into like the sculpting of
it. Usually I got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to sculpt, but it does evolve. Sometimes what I start out with isn't what I end up with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I got an idea, like the Frankenstein, I think you got a picture of. That was something I wanted to base off of a Rat Fink style, like the hot rod guy. And what I had in mind is what I started with isn't really what it turned out to be, but I actually liked this version better than what was in there.
Oh, the hot rod guys from back in the day, you get them little cards.
Yeah.
I love them. Get that little hard ass piece of flat bubble gum with it.
Yeah. That had flavor for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a quick note before we move on for everybody. The questions are coming in rapid fire tonight for sure. So please, all of you who are here with us tonight, Jim and Chris and Tony, please, if you would, since I won't get to all of these, head back and take a look at these when you've got a minute and answer whatever we couldn't get to. I know that our audience would greatly appreciate that. All right, Phil.
Awesome. Hi, Dan.
Okay. Chris, thank you, Jim. We're going to come back to you. And Chris, we're going to move on to you. I know you do, what was it again? Thermoplastics?
It's thermoplastic, basically. It's called Wonderflex. It was first designed to make armor in live theater productions. And what it is I can show you somewhere around here. Oh, here we go. There. Basically, it's comes in sheets. One side is shiny smooth, the other side has nylon fabric weaved into it. When you heat this up with a heat gun to about 130 degrees, it becomes like silly putty. And then you can sculpt it any way you want. So how I do things is every mask essentially starts looking like this. Just a flat, think Jason Voorhees mask without the holes, essentially. And what it is it's just 2 layers of Wonderflex over a head form. Once I have that, I then start shaping any shapes I need, ears, teeth, noses, out of the same material. I'm then able to adhere it to that faceplate just by heating it up. Now, it dries rigid, and the more you layer it, the less flexible it becomes. But when it's only like 2 layers, it's extremely flexible. The cool thing is, the only downside to it is high heat. So if you're in like Arizona in the summer in the back of a car, it's going to warp it. But aside from that, it's extremely durable stuff. And I got into, because it was more like fabricating with armor, and I could bypass the whole molding and casting process, which I was just horrible at. I was able to find kind of a niche with it in different designs. Now, the thing is, there are specific designs I can't do that look fantastic when they're done with latex or silicone, i.e. fleshy designs, leatherface designs, zombies, undead, things like that. But a lot of the other designs, when it comes to more like that one picture you showed there, it's a lot more comic booky and just alters the contour of the human face. Now, these aren't full head masks, of course. These are just faceplate masks. But for the most part, they're extremely light, and I don't know. It's an interesting material. If you've ever used that stuff that you put your fake vampire fangs in with, imagine a sheet of that with nylon weave in the back of it. So you can heat it up the same way. You can manipulate it the same way.
Dude, that's really cool how you do that.
Tim would like to know, how do you keep it hot enough to make it flexible? And there's...
Well, you use a paint stripping gun. And when it gets to a certain temperature, you have about 10 minutes of work time before it starts hardening again.
Okay. And Matthew Miller was curious about, will it flex without cracking?
Yes. It's odd. Because it has fabric weave in it, it's more potential to tear if it's really thin. But the thicker you make it, it starts becoming more like a resin mask, where it doesn't flex anymore. And it doesn't crack because it has the, let's say like the surface area cracked. Well, you got 3 more layers underneath it. So now it just has integrity.
Could you heat it back up again after and kind of fix that crack if you had to?
Yeah, like let's say with this guy, one of those tentacles fell off. You could heat up one end with a lighter, heat the other end up with a lighter, stick it back together, wait 10 minutes, and it's solid again.
Oh, nice.
Passion Manor would like to know, is this similar to Warbler? Does it have the same type of
Yes.
thermoplastic? Yeah, okay.
Yes, the difference with Warbler and this is Warbler does not have the nylon in it, I believe. This does. This one is called Wonderflex. I think I said that.
Yeah. Chris, I think the question on everyone's mind here is, how many times have you gotten burned doing this?
Well, I guess a lot. But the thing was, I used to use a forge all the time and forge real metal, so I already built up a tolerance to that pain.
Yeah.
So when it came to manipulating hot plastic, it was like, oh, this isn't as bad as like, grabbing a live, welding rod, for example.
I've done that. That didn't feel good.
A lot of my designs, if not all, are going to be blacklight, and that's just because I'm obsessed. My passion has always been sci-fi horror. My first love was the alien, the xenomorph. You can't tell from my shirt. And just that abstract, bizarre. And then a lot of my designs come from literature and stuff, just like this is obviously Lovecraftian, if you're familiar, cosmic horror, things in the abyss kind of stuff. But I like making them bright.
Yeah. How do you go about like making? Do you just roll it on a table, making all your teeth and stuff?
Yeah. Imagine rolling out a giant worm and then cutting it to teeth shape, and then heating each one individually and sticking it on until you create a mouth.
Does it hold the paint well? Beth would like to know, or is it something you seal specifically? You use the sealant?
It's actually pretty cool. I base coat everything with like a black, like matte paint, usually acrylic, and it holds the paint extremely well. And I usually seal it with a clear coat just because I don't want it sometimes the paints, you never know, but it's all done with acrylic paint.
And then how do you go about adding like grooves and stuff to the mask there? I see like you have some like scratching in it.
Yeah, sure. Basically, what you do is after you, like, let's say I have this design, I have the teeth and the eyes cut. You know, I have the brows built up with more of the material. I would then heat the whole thing up again and go in with dental tools and start carving, recessing into the mask where I want the furrow lines or the indents in the teeth or the scratches in the gum line. So my main, my two main tools is actually a heat gun and dental tools. Oh yeah,
Like
the Five Nights.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy.
Ah, okay, yep. And you
This
can.
one,
Mark asked. He was like, you can reheat it to change the design, and I think you already said that you could. Yeah.
yes, yeah, you can reheat it to change the design. Or now, if you've already painted it, if you add more material, it won't stick anymore. So you can't like paint it and then be like, oops, I want to add like an ear. It's not going to adhere the same way. But as long as you've still maintained it, you know, without adding paint, yeah, you can keep building and subtracting all you need.
Okay. And Anthony asked, only able to create half masks, or can you do full masks as well?
If I were to do a full mask, it would be more in the realm of a helmet with a face on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so like, let's say you wanted this dinosaur guy here. If he was a full head, it would be a helmet in the back. It would be a rigid helmet.
Well, he's cool. Okay.
Are you getting more into that now, Chris, with like making movable jaws and stuff like that?
Yeah, the problem is a lot of the more you know, the easy ways to make the jaw move using elastic or, you know, a strap, or sometimes it's just not enough to move the material. So I'm still working on ways in which I could make moving jaws that fit everybody. I can do it if you're in my shop and I build it on your face. That's not a problem. But when it comes to like trying to mass produce that design in every mask, I can't quite figure it out yet. It's the same reason I don't make full head masks, because everyone's head shape's different. And unlike with silicone latex, where, you know, you got a lot of wiggle room, these would be like putting a helmet on, so it's not gonna, it'll flex maybe a few inches, but not much.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jim. When you start your mask, do you find yourself doing a lot of tearing it down and rebuilding a lot, or once you get going, it's kind of smooth sailing from there?
I have two course of actions that I follow. One is I have a design beginning to end, know what I'm doing. I'm comfortable enough with the material that I can pretty much think ahead enough. Okay, this is what I got to do. In other cases, I like to do what I call free-form masks, where I don't have a direction, and I just start sculpting away, and just, oh, what's going to happen? And, oh, let's add an eyeball here and a tentacle there. Sometimes it creates some really odd things, but I'm usually pretty happy with them. Plus, it also, I remember there was this one time I had to do 20 rabbits. And I love them, but, you know, I got tired of doing rabbits. So the next one I did was, you know, something like this. I still had the rabbit idea and the horns, but I was like, I'm going to do something more just demonic and dark, metallic. Because the rabbits were all kind of happy.
I love it. Do you find that this is used for a lot? Tim wants to know, do people use this a great deal for cosplay in the way that they would Warbler? Absolutely.
Yeah. I also do, I do EVA foam build and Wonderflex armor builds for cosplay, as well as like Comic-Con and people like that, sci-fi stuff, fantasy stuff. But my heart is in Halloween. So you can see where, oh yes, you can see through by my usage of how bright things are that I still have that bit of fantasy carrying over. But I just roll with it, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's creepy as hell. I love it.
That rabbit's
Love it.
crazy.
Yeah, he's a favorite for sure. Chris or Chad, I'm sorry. Chad wants to know: do you ever use a Dremel to carve in details after the plastic is already set up?
No, because since it's a thermoplastic, the Dremel will heat up and end up basically seizing on the mask and melting it and tearing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now this guy, he's completely UV. He looks nasty in a dark room. His eyes glow red, but he glows purple. Now to get those those mandible jaws, what I do is I use thin craft foam, about 5 millimeters thick, and then I coat it in the thermoplastic. I cut it to the shape of the mandible to create thickness, because that's a lot of Wonderflex if you want something like 2 inches thick.
Okay.
So to create the thickness in the mandibles, what I do is I cut it to shape out of foam and then cover it in 2 layers of the thermoplastic. That also then allows me to just heat them up and attach it to the faceplate.
Okay, awesome. You said the thin craft foam. I assume you're talking about the super teeny tiny itty bitty thin craft foam that you can get at Dollar Tree, right?
Well, if you can't find it, those stress relief mats you stand on in the garage when you're working they link together. That's exactly the same foam. They just call it something else.
So it is an EVA foam, but you can get the stuff at Dollar Tree and have this work if you want the thin stuff.
Yeah, and when you want to, the thing with EVA foam, since it's I think open cell foam, when you heat that with a heat gun, it becomes very pliable. Now you can't sculpt a face out of it, but you can shape it to a horn shape, and then when it dries, it stays to that shape. And then you would add the plastic around that.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Cool.
Very cool, Chris. Thank you, man. Amazing
No
work
problem.
there. Jeez.
Thank you.
Well, we will come back to you here in a little bit. We're going to move over now to Tony. So, Tony, I don't know what you're looking at.
He's asleep.
Oh, damn, I just had this craziest dream.
I picture a spider falling on him.
What's up? What's up? I'm here. What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Well, let's get into some of your work, man, and some of your masterpieces here. So,
Nice.
what do we got? What do we got here? What's
this
demon?
pretty little fella right here. That's my Krampus mask. And the good thing about working with, I use, like Jim said, Ultra Cal 30 for my molds. So, what I do a lot is I'll take a certain concept, like whatever sculpt it is, and I make several different characters, just whatever comes out of my head of that same exact mold. But just depending on, you can put different hair, horns. That same mold there, the Krampus, is my demon mold, where I put my horns going down this way, and that's my demon horns. And then the Krampus I turned up going this way. So it's the same horns, same mold, but it looks like 2 different masks, But if you look at it, it's pretty much the same mold. But I use latex, RD407 latex, Monster Makers. That's what I use.
So when you make a mold that's gonna have horns, how do you make the actual part of the mold to where the horn's gonna fit in there? Do you build it up and then they stick in there, or is it flush?
Yeah, when I first sculpt it, when I start sculpting it and kind of I see the design in my head. This is crazy. I see it done in my head, and then I just try to get to there on clay. And so, it has horns or whatnot, I'll actually put the plastic horn, whatever horns I'm going to use for the mask, so I know it's the exact same, and sculpt it into the sculpt. And then right before I mold it, I'll pull it out a little bit. And it kind of moves the clay out a little bit. Well, then I can kind of squeeze the clay back to where its original shape was. So then that way when I mold it, I'm able to like cut it out, and I used to, you know, like I said, trial and error, you know, on a lot of it. I used to just leave the hole and then just glue the horn to that. And then, you know, all you've got is just a bead of glue around the edge of the horn. The horn ain't but, you know, it's hollow, so it ain't but 1/4 inch thick, baby. So the only thing holding it to the mask is just, you know, that little thin plastic. So now I started cutting a circle out, and then I'll feed the horn up through it. And then that way it gives me more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It gives me more surface area to glue the horn, and it's a lot it's not coming off.
Nice.
You know,
I always wondered how they did that.
Yeah, I found out that it works a lot better. You know, not only for practical reasons, like it's not going to come off. I mean, you could headbang, skydive, whatever you want to do. All of my masks are skydive in them, and it's not coming off. So like, it also looks badass. Like it looks like it's coming out of the freaking mask. Like if it wasn't, you know. In real life, it looks more organic, I guess you would say.
Right.
So it gives it that look like it's actually growing out of the skin. So that's what I switched to that method.
Chuck would like to know, Tony, do mask molds have a shelf life and gradually break down, losing details to where at some point you have to just make a new mold for that particular mask?
Yes, absolutely. Welcome to our nightmare. It really depends on which kind of plaster you use too, because there's, you know, it goes in different grades. There's like, I think it starts at plaster Paris or something like that's the softest one. That's like, you know, your little kids used to make your handprint. You know, it's for mommy's day and stuff like that. You don't want to use that; it's too soft. But then there's like hydrocal. You know, is a little bit harder. Plaster, and then Ultra Cal 30 is what I use. It's like stone, and I think there's even one after that, like a dental plaster or something. I've never really used it. You know, I was concrete. I mean, that could work.
No, I'm joking. No.
Yeah.
I've always wanted it to be a lot heavier. You know, so to me they're not heavy enough. So concrete might be better. So, but like the softer the plaster, the less pulls you get. So if you want to, you know, you just want to make a mask one time for Halloween or something, you know, hey, hydrocal might work for you. You know, just mold it. It's a lot lighter. It's softer, easier to work with. I don't know if that's necessarily cheaper or anything like that. Never really compared it. But like, you know, every single time you pull a pull out of that mold, it keeps breaking down the detail of the mold. So if you got a hydrocal mold, you know, you may only get 10, 15, 20 pulls out of it before you really start losing like wrinkles and details like that. And then the Ultra Cal, you can pull 100 of them out of it, you know, but it's still, I don't care. I've used a bunch of them. It still loses detail. Yes. Like after so many pulls, like I don't, you know, but then that's the fun of it. Like if you just go back and sculpt it again, you know, by then, if you got 200 pulls and it starts losing detail, you ought to be a little bit better sculptor than you were 200 pulls ago. So it'll probably,
that's fair. Yeah.
It'll probably look better if you sculpt it again anyway.
Makes sense.
You got a little practice by then.
Right. Now, on these two masks, they kind of look the same. It looks like you sculpted two different ones. Is that true?
Yeah, let me see. This one.
Click on my little square in the bottom and it should pop up.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's basically, it was the same concept, like just a smile, laughing face clown, whatever you call it. But if you notice, one I did with pointy teeth, and then the other I did just regular flat teeth. But it was basically, it was the same concept, you know. But I just did one with regular flat teeth and then one with pointed teeth. I thought the pointed teeth looked more evil, scary, I guess, you know. And then the other one just looked like it was just cheesing. So,
I get twisted metal vibes from these.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I actually make that one too.
Yeah.
The twisted metal
Sweet
clown,
tooth.
whatever. Sweet tooth, yeah.
Yep.
I do that one in red.
Now, Tony, I see you do a lot of with the hair and stuff. Do you?
Sharp teeth have a tendency to.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was going to say sharp teeth have a tendency to make it look it's still a clown, but it's also a more monstrous. It's less human.
Yeah, agreed. Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like it's
That
just
gives
about to
it
take a bite of your ass. You know, that's why.
Right.
I think it, you know, and I can't remember hell, but it was probably somebody said, "Hey, can you do that, but make the teeth pointed?" Like, and then you know, a lot of people don't realize they're like, "Hey, man, I really like this mask, but can you make the nose like 3 inches longer?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I'd have to re-sculpt it and remold it. Like, you can't really change the plaster mold. Like, it's a rock." You know, like I can manipulate the pull a bit. You know, I use cotton and latex a lot. So, like, if somebody says, I want it to look a little bit more mean, well, then I can take cotton balls and, you know, you can unroll a cotton ball and then dip it in latex. And then I'll kind of use that as, like, clay and sculpt on the latex pull to change, like, the shape of the brow or something. And then it'll dry and it looks just, it's part of the mask, you know?
Oh, man.
So, like,
I never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a way to... you know, like I'll add horns or something on a latex pull, a blank. But it's a good way to manipulate the actual sculpt itself without re-sculpting the whole thing and remolding it again.
Yeah, it's a cool way to do gore effect too.
Yeah, and that's the way I'll do a lot of, like, make it look like a burn. You know, I'll spread that cotton out like this and make it look like a burn or something. You know, that's a really good way to get a burn effect. But it's a easy way to add, you know, detail to a pull that's already been molded instead of resculpting the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I'd like to know where you got the idea for this one.
Miller Lite was the idea and inspiration behind this one.
Well, all right then. We got ourselves a Miller Lite brain juice thing happening.
No, I'll tell you what, like, it gets crazy in my shop. You guys probably don't realize that, but like. This guy, actually, the design came because I was running out of room, and I was like, I've got so many head forms that I use that I paint on, and when I pull it, I like to pull out of the mold and put it on a head form, let it sit another day or two to kind of finish curing. And so I was out of head forms, and that's actually the face is Horny the Clown from Drive-Thru, and then the one underneath it was Slipknot Mayhem Clown. So I had pulled a Horny out of the mold, and I was like, shit, I ain't got nowhere to put it. And I just kind of set the blank on the Mayhem that was sitting there. And then I walked off, and I came back and looked, and I was like, well, damn, that looks badass.
No way.
So then I was like, it asked me to be born. Like, that's how it always happens. Like, this thing said, this is what I need to be.
So you just latexed it on there, or what'd you do?
I glued it over the other mask, and then, like I said, I took cotton and latex and built it all up around the edge to make it look like, I wanted to make it look kind of like the Mayhem was wearing this other clown as a mask. So if you notice the wire, it's supposed to look like, you know, that's how it's attached to the face, you know.
Right.
So
nice.
It's hard to believe, but it gets pretty crazy in my brain.
More drinks.
I know you're not gonna believe that shit, but it does.
The more drinks you have, the more creative you get.
Oh yeah, there's my boys right there. Yeah. So I'm not too happy about the, I don't even want to talk about the Pennywise, sore subject.
Let's talk about the Pennywise.
He's pounding it.
No, I'm just kidding. The Pennywise, that one. You know, you don't always get what you order off the internet. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, that's totally not what the picture looks like. So, you know, I make my own sculpts, I make my own molds, I do all my own work, but seamstress, I'm not. So I don't sew I can't sew. So I thought, well, you know, because I did sculpt that mask, the Pennywise face, and I thought, well, I need a badass Pennywise. Look badass on the photo. And this is what came. It's like something from Wish right here, guys. Look at it.
Wish, yeah. That's what I was looking for. Wish, yeah.
It's sad.
I think the one in the middle is the scariest.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how long that took me to make? That one took me in the middle about 46 years to make, man. It was like, it's a work in progress. It's a whip. It's still a work in progress. And then my twisties, that was badass.
And that's
actually
the mouthpiece you made there?
Actually, the Twisty is a Trick or Treat Studios that I overhauled, and then I actually bought the mouthpiece because Trick or Treat, the mouthpiece is like latex, doesn't look nothing like it. So then I bought a resin one and rehauled it and everything like that. So the mouthpiece there is actual a resin one, you know, over the Trick or Treat. I just stripped the whole thing. I re-haired it, stripped it down, repainted it, just did a complete overhaul on it, you know. But it was a custom order. Saved me time instead of sculpting it. And then these guys right here, here's another example of using different molds. You know, that one on the left was like I think it was a what do you call it? A ogre or something like that, or elf or something somebody wanted. Like, but then, you know, I mean, heck, just it doesn't matter what it is. People just love clowns. So they're like, I made this ogre mask. Hell, nobody wanted it. It was, you know, like it sat on eBay forever. Put a little, slap some clown paint on it, started selling the shit out of it. You know, that's how it works. You know, like nobody wanted that damn thing. You can just slap some clown paint on anything, dude. Just sell it.
Yeah, that's true. If I have something that hangs around for a while, if I just repaint it with clown paint, it almost always sells.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, here's my.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Here's my ogre mask. And I was like, that's cool. And I'm like,
this falls right into what Erica's asking: is that are clowns your favorite masks to sculpt?
No, not really. They're all my favorite. I mean, I don't get why people are scared of clowns. I mean, I've never personally been scared of clowns. I thought they were all like funny and they're supposed to make you laugh. I don't, you know, why people think, you know, Freddy Krueger's scary as hell, man. A clown, you know, like, I never really got the whole coulrophobia thing, but I like sculpting anything. I like it all.
I love that you threw the $10 word.
Yeah, you like that?
I did. It was.
He said the magic word.
Yeah. I studied that. I googled that before we got on. I googled that real quick.
Hey,
awesome.
How long do you think a mask would last? I mean, I've seen some like polls, and let's say you got a whole stack of masks and you ain't got around to painting them, and they kind of start yellowing a little bit, or is that just natural? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's natural. I've got some, and especially like if you don't want to set it in the sun or anywhere like around a window or the sun, because it'll really, you know, mess up the color, deform it, whatever. But I've had some that's been sitting in my shop here for years, and they're almost dark brown. But it doesn't really seem to affect the integrity of the mask. I mean, you paint it, you don't see that color no more. You know, if you look on the inside, maybe, but it doesn't seem to like make it brittle or anything. But I don't know. You know, who knows if it's for 20 years.
good to
I'm
know.
only on.
Good to know.
Yeah. It just depends on what latex you use. Now, some latex, you know, the cheaper stuff will start getting gummy, right, and it'll break down on you. I don't even know what that stuff's called. Don't want to know it.
Yeah.
I use the good stuff.
Well, I can speak on behalf of silicone too. I know silicone's the more pricey to get a mask made out of, and even that breaks down. I've had a mask now for I think almost going on 10 years, and it's finally starting to see its final days. It just tends to break down over time. So
yeah,
you know.
And it seems more like silicone to me seems more like, you know, more porous or something. I don't know. It's kind of, I see people that are like, hey man, I've had this silicone mask for 4 years. I want to sell it. And I'm like, how much sweat is in that thing? Like, I'm gonna put that on my face. You know, like you've been wearing that for 4 years, like in between showers.
Gross.
You know, yeah, it just doesn't seem very sanitary. Like, you know, latex, you can wipe it out with some, you know, soap and water. You don't use acetone.
Yeah.
Soap and water, and I mean, it seems like a lot more hygienic. Really?
You still smell
maybe I
them?
didn't feel too long. I don't know. She's got me thinking about
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tony. We'll come back to you here at the end of the list. But we're at the top of the hour. I just wanted to jump in real quick and let everyone know that who are just joining. God, I'm falling apart again. This is so bad. You can tell I'm such a rookie. Oh God. For those of you just joining, if you are interested in winning some amazing prizes from our sponsors, all you have to do is ask a question to our panel here tonight. For those of you that are just joining too, that want to know what the topic is, we are talking about sculpting, whether it's props, face, masks. So.
Wait, who's on the cold medicine tonight?
I think both of us are. Oh no. God. But so yeah, we have Jim, Chris, and Tony on with us tonight, and I'm gonna bring it back to Jim here once my computer lets me. And Jim, I know I'm gonna be showing a picture, but it's the aliens. So these, I know you made a male and a female version here.
Yeah.
How long did it take to sculpt these guys? Because what are they, about 4 feet tall? 3 feet tall?
Ivan, the male, is 44 inches, and Iva is just a tad bit smaller. I mean, you can see there.
Yeah.
It was one of those that I started and then walked away from. I'm real bad about, because I'm very ADD. I'll start projects and then halfway through I'll think of something else I want to do, and I'll start another project and then another one and another one, to the point where my wife is like, you probably should finish some of this stuff instead of starting new stuff. So
never.
A normal person, a normal person, it would probably take maybe a week to sculpt it, to where it takes me longer. I don't know, a couple months sometimes. Now I can sculpt faster than that. In October, I wanted a skull mask. I think 2 days it took me. This guy right here. It was just an easy half mask, but it was just a quick 2 days. I sculpted it and molded it and casted it and all that stuff. That guy took a little bit longer. I had to weld a frame up and shape it the way I wanted the clay on it. And all that fun stuff.
All right, let's talk about this. I know I mentioned it to you in the pre-show, but
yeah, that's a milk jug.
You use? Yeah, he makes milk jugs, guys. So
with cookies. I mix it with my coffee.
Awesome.
I make a trick or treat bag. I've been making the trick or treat bag since like 2015. I think I started making those, and I want to make a new one. I just feel like it's time for a new one. The one that I make now has the handle is a separate piece, and when I make them, I have to make the handle separate, and then it's got to be glued in, and then I back connect it with latex and Cavasil, and I want to make one that looks like the actual handle is part of the skin that stretches up. So that was for Trans World. I started sculpting it, and then I got lazy, and I pulled out a life cast that I have that I actually did not make. It was one that I had from a shop that I worked with a while back, and I stuffed clay into the life cast and stuck it on there, and then decided that felt kind of cheap. I felt like I was cutting corners too much, and it wasn't something I sculpted, so it got benched. I'm gonna start it again for next year's Trans World. But
oh, dude, I was like, damn, I gotta see that.
Yeah, totally. And Jennifer Luke, Jim said, it's Monsters Inc. Mike on steroids. She loves it.
Yeah, somebody always says that. Looks like Mike Wadowski or Wadowski or whatever his name is. That one there is, that one actually is a character from one of the X-File episodes called Mr. Chuckles Teeth.
Oh, that's right.
Someone asked, somebody commissioned me to make that because like three years ago, nobody was making it. So I did it. Well, he wanted the black and white version, so I made that version for him. And then since then, I've seen other guys are starting to make that mask now. So I switched the paint up and started doing what I call Davey H, the redheaded guy there, because I know a guy named David Hurlbutt that looks a lot like that. So I decided to paint it like my friend David.
You?
That's why I call it David H. And then, of course, like Tony said, you got to put clown paint on it because that's blacklight paint, and it looks pretty cool, I think.
I tagged you. Somebody was looking for one of these, I think. I tagged you. So
Yeah.
I sent them your way.
Oh, yeah, today, right? It was a guy
Yeah.
that was looking for, yeah. Yeah,
I
he's
hope they
going
buy
to
like
order
12
one.
bucks.
Yeah, thanks. I think he's going to order one.
Sweet.
They were awesome.
That's what we do. We're a family, man. We're a tight-knit family.
That's right,
Oh
Tony.
yeah.
There's that's Charlie. That's the baby alien.
That's intense.
That's the body I showed you a minute ago.
Love that guy.
I'm trying to figure out what took you longer to find the pajamas or to make the body.
Actually, the pajamas were a big inspiration to that. I've been wanting to make a baby alien because I made Ivan first, and then I made Iva the next year, or 2 years later, and then everybody was asking when are they going to have a baby. So that right there and the pumpkin were part of the reason why I was in the hotel room working until 4 a.m. last Thursday, because they were both kind of late in the game to do as much work. I had to finish the sculptures and make the molds. He was 5 different molds: the head and the hands and the feet.
Wow.
Actually, it's 3 because I doubled them up: the feet and the hands. A mold each, hands and feet.
How
But,
do you attach them with like PVC or something?
No, they go in one of these foam bodies. You trim down this to get it to where it looks like a normal arm, and then let's see. Hang on, I got some hands right back here. They're hollow.
Tony's like,
They're
bring
hollow.
it down.
So I just slip them on. What are you doing there, Tony? Taking notes?
Taking notes, Jeff. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
He don't work for you,
But then
but he'll take the idea.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna be making aliens next year.
Next week.
I just glue them on. I glue the head on, glue the hands on. The head I have to fill up with foam. I don't foam fill them because then it would make it too heavy. But I take foam and I shred it all up and stuff it on the inside, so it gives it. It's kind of squishy like a baby doll head, sort of.
Oh, so they're hollow. I see what you're saying. They just slide over. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like same way I make the mask.
Corey
Just
would like
that.
to know what type of foam do you use for the body?
I prefer Flex Foam 5. I know a lot of people like the 3. I'm not a big fan of the 3. I like Flex Foam 5. I get it from Reynolds Advanced Materials or Smooth On. It's all the same stuff.
Then we got this guy, new this year, right?
No, I actually made that last year. That was new for Transworld last year.
Wow.
That guy's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, I saw this one firsthand this year. Oh, I thought the. Hold on, no, I
It's
know
got
you have
the-
the picture. There it is.
With the rat coming out of the back.
Yeah,
His little buddy.
That is so cool.
that's so awesome.
I like to add little things like that.
My cats would love that.
What's that?
My cats would love that.
Oh, the rat. Yeah, I got a rat right here too.
It's so cool.
Now, can this be a mask that somebody wears too, or is this just?
It can be.
Yeah.
I make another Frankenstein that is bigger than that one, and I'd take it to the shows, and people would always ask if they could get it as a mask. I could never figure out a good spot to put eye holes on that one, so I decided to sculpt a new one, which is what this guy is. This is the one I was talking about earlier when I said Rat Fink. That was the Rat Fink design. And that one can be ordered as a mask, but again, it's kind of big and it really works better as a prop with foam in it. So yeah, the eye holes, I just put eye holes in the pupils.
And then, do you hand paint all your eyes, or are those inserts that you put in?
Oh no, I paint them. Yeah.
Wow,
Thank you.
the detail.
Nice.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, nice.
That was
even your makeup, man.
what's
The
that?
detailing and everything. So the makeup that you put on, or the paint, I
Yeah.
should say, all the details, man. It just makes everything pop. Such a good job.
Well, thanks.
Oh, that is awesome.
That was commissioned for a guy in Canada. several years ago that does a big light show, and we did 2 of those, and they were behind a DJ booth. I don't remember if they moved with the music or not, but they were behind a DJ booth, and then he had a whole giant Halloween light thing in his garage.
Jim Chad would like to know, would you be willing to sell blank bodies?
Bodies? These?
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe. You have to send me a
Make him
message.
an offer, Chad. Make him an offer.
And of course,
Killer
that guy
Clowns?
there, yeah, based off Killer Clowns from Outer Space. A friend of mine, Chris Kastner, has a Killer Clown themed haunted house in Tennessee.
Dude, I
And
think I bought that one off him. he was getting rid of all of his clown stuff, and I bought them all from him. I think.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome.
So he's not, yeah, he's got a dinosaur park too. Maybe he's not doing the clowns anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was just switching over. He was selling all his clown stuff. I actually got that mask.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites to paint because all the colors on it. I like the way it really pops when it's done.
Love that movie.
Oh, I do too. I watch it every year, at least 2 or 3
love
times.
that movie. Classic.
Yeah, it's a good one. I love those cheesy 80s horror movies.
Oh yeah. What is it, like cotton candy gun or what?
What's that?
The cotton candy gun or something they had?
Yeah, popcorn gun.
Yeah, that's it.
That one's based off of I think the guy is from Spain, an artist, and I was going to do 2 years ago. I wanted to do Plague Doctor, but I didn't want to do one that looked like everybody else's Plague Doctors. And I came across a picture on Pinterest of that holding a rose. It was a black and white drawing. I thought it was really cool. So I sent the guy a message and asked him if he was okay. I didn't copy it exactly, but it's pretty close. But if he'd be okay if I would take that painting that he did or the drawing and make a mask based off of it. And he was real cool about it. He's like, yeah, man, that's great. Do it. Except he said it with a Spanish accent.
It's sick.
And that's got the same mesh eyes as the other ones I was showing earlier. I originally put actual plastic lenses in that one. I first started making it, but with the cool weather in October and then having your head inside there, the lenses would fog up on that. So,
right?
Yeah. So we switched it to mesh, I think the mesh actually looks better too, personally.
Right.
When you, Jim, when you pull this out of the mold, does the nose tend to have a lot of imperfections on it? Sometimes, is it hard to keep it a solid piece or no?
No.
No. Okay, wasn't sure.
No, I mean it's latex, so it has all those little bumps like a lot of latex does. I just take a Dremel tool and clean it all off before I paint them.
Okay.
The only problem
I wasn't sure with
really
like air bubbles and stuff in that.
Oh no, not so much that one. Now the Davy H one, for whatever reason, I do get a lot of air bubbles in that one. I got to use a compressor and I do it in layers just to keep the bubbles out of it. But that's a whole nother thing.
Right. Maybe in the comments you can tell us where you got that mesh from. Give us a website so we can check it out.
Yeah, I think I got a card somewhere.
Yes,
I can do that. Yeah. And that's Robbie Rottenhead. He was I wanted to do a cool Scarecrow type character with lights inside of it. So that was 3 years ago. Whenever COVID happened, it was that year because I was so excited about having that in the Transworld booth. That was the first year that we decided to go from a 10 by 10 to a 10 by 20. And I already had it visualized, one on this side of the booth and one on that side of the booth. And then COVID happened and I had one on this side of my garage and one on this side of my garage.
Rob would not like to know, Jim, what do you use for blood on your props?
I use Pale Knight blood. Best stuff on the market.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
fright props. I use a little bit of fright props too, but mostly I use Pale Knight.
Right on. And Ryan would like to know, what's the worst part of the process that you hate when making your masks, your props?
Oh, the divide wall is the worst part. I hate that part.
Divide wall? Yeah, on the walls themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of mold making either, but I think I'm finally kind of starting to get the hang of it. But the divide wall is where you make the two halves, and hate it. I've never
Yeah.
liked that process.
Yeah, I think I did it like one time. Like, it's taking too much time. I'll just do half.
Yeah. I've been doing more half masks here recently because I hate that divide wall so bad. If you don't get it right, your seams are terrible, and then you got to spend time fixing all that.
Right. And then if you make it a little too small with the half mask, it fits. But like the whole head, if it's not the right size, it don't fit.
Yeah.
I ran into that early on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all that work and it's
Put the divide wall and get it secure enough, and you start putting the plaster, and the damn thing falls off.
Yeah, I've had that happen too.
Michael would like to know, for the lips and the shiny areas, do you add a gloss or do you use a gloss paint?
On the lips, and it depends on what it is. Like this one that we're looking at.
I think that's what he means. Yeah.
That one there, I use 5-minute epoxy because that one's not a wearable mask. Now, if it's something that's wearable, usually I'll use Pale Night again. I'll use their clear grime because it's flexible when it dries. Where your epoxy can crack. Although I do use epoxy on all the eyes, but that area usually doesn't flex too much on a mask.
Jennifer would like to know. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Those hands right there, those are my mom's hands. My mom has arthritis, so she's got swollen knuckles. So I had her come over, and we got some body double life casting stuff, and I life casted her hands for witch hands. Those are foam. Those are not wearable.
Right.
Taking notes.
Very cool. Yeah, everybody's taking notes.
Take them.
Send mom over.
Jen would like to know what's inspired your style.
Tony Buck inspires me.
There you go.
I watch everything.
Secrets are out.
Take it. All right.
I don't know, just different stuff. Sometimes just some simple idea will pop an idea in my head. Movies. I watch a lot of horror movies, and I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird things.
So
give you an idea.
Do you paint or use airbrush?
Both. Like that mask that we're looking at right there, I airbrush that white with latex-based white paint, and then I'll paint it black, and then I do a wash with naphtha. It's a black ink, so it leaves that dirty, distressed look to it. And then the eyes, the eyebrows, and the green, and the lips, and the green around the lips, that's all just old school paintbrushes. And then the shadowing around the eyes, that's airbrush. I come back and airbrush that. But most of my eyes, like on the other ones, the Frankenstein and stuff, a lot of that's airbrush.
Beautiful work.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful, man. Very unique, I gotta say. All your designs are one of a kind, man. They're so cool. So
thank you.
Pandora, you asked a question in the beginning. I'm putting you on the spot. What was that question again? I can't remember.
Oh my God.
Do we know?
Okay.
Does anybody else know from the panel? I'm trying to.
I do remember. It was about what have you seen that someone else made that you wish had been something you'd thought of first?
Jim, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have anything?
I can't. I was trying to think when Tony was talking a minute ago because I wasn't listening to him. I was trying to think what it is that I've seen. I don't know. It's a hard one because there's a lot of stuff out there that I've seen. I'm like, oh, damn, that's a good idea. I wish I'd have done that, but right off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. How about you, Tony?
Plastic pumpkins. That's easy.
What is it?
Plastic pumpkins and alien babies. That's easy.
Oh,
alien babies and pumpkins. All right.
Chris, what do you got?
Anything made by distortions, pretty much. I'd say I wish I made that.
All right.
Yeah. It'd make some cool stuff.
If we're being honest, I wish I designed H.R. Geiger's xenomorph before anyone else did.
Okay, that's fair. Right on.
Or the Queen Alien, that's one of my. I mean, it's my all-time favorite monster. So I mean, yeah, that's got my answer.
Yeah. My favorite is I wish I could do any of the things you guys did.
Yeah. I was gonna say I wish I could be artistic.
Yep.
So, in fact, and here's maybe a little something off the cuff or whatever, but just curious to the other guy, like, who's your favorite sculptor?
Oh, there
Like,
you go.
You know, like your inspiration, like someone you think is badass.
Oh, I think I'd probably go with Rick Baker. I've always been a huge Rick Baker fan.
Yeah, he's badass.
Yeah.
I kind of would have to agree. Not to. I mean, I was raised on Star Wars. I mean, Wolfman. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, oh man, yeah, I would have to say Rick Baker.
Tony?
Yeah, when they remade the Wolfman movie with what's his name? Del Toro played the
Del Toro.
Right? Played the
Tori,
right, the guy?
Yep.
Something like that.
And they, instead of doing the American Werewolf and London style werewolf, they actually did a wolf. Rick Baker made the Wolfman over again, and that's one of my favorites. I think that's so cool. I would like to do
fantastic.
My Frankenstein that with the rat. I want to do a Wolfman in that same kind of art or that same kind of style with a big underbite and a broken tooth. And
Nice.
it's on my list. That and a Creature from the Black Lagoon in that same style.
Creature from the Black.
Right.
Excellent. We've had
Gilman,
some people out
my
there.
favorite.
I don't know all the
Yep.
sculptors, but I think like Paul Hollister, he does some really detailed work too. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I think I have, but right off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone.
We've got people out there chiming in. Rue Newman says Andrew Freeman.
Hell,
And
my boy.
yeah, and Bob says Jordu Shell. Of course, we all love Jordu.
Jordy's pretty good. He's
That's
got a
probably-
future.
Quite a few out there. I love it. I love the. Oh,
Mikey
that's nice, Phil.
I'd have to say Mike Rotella, Jonathan Fuller's a beast. But yeah, I mean, of course, the Immortal and those guys. I'd have to say Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew is a freaking. I don't even think he's from this planet. Like, he's so freaking good. He's so freaking good. Jordan.
Well, I mean, even just walking the floor at Transworld, there's so many
It's
guys.
very true. Yeah.
Sculpt so well.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how everyone's got their own unique way of twisting things. It's really
Oh, for sure. And it's
really,
wonderful
really
to
cool.
hear what everyone's what everyone's true idols are in that way. Jennifer Luke, Jim Henson pushed her. Skeksis agreed totally. Ryan Visengard, Rick Baker, Craig Hoffman, Stan Winston's Gilman, and it's really cool. And so for those of you out there
Who
that are
did the
watching
Predator?
this,
I think that was
Who designed the Predator? Was that
Stan Winston? I know they
Stan
We
Winston?
should have a Stan Winston.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So
That's another
for
good
those
one.
of you out there that are into this and into the mask making and want to see more, take these names and go out there and start Googling, man, because it's great places to begin. Dennis Van Landoit says Darren Perk's pretty awesome too.
Right. I think a lot of things.
Yeah,
is,
Darren.
It's like you can't. It's like you're a sculptor, or you do this. I mean, I think when you try to, like, I try to like do a little sculpting, do a little set design, do a little this, do a little that. It's like I think if you want to be good, you got to stick with one thing. I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that's where you get good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just love practice.
You know, and a lot of my influences, aren't necessarily from sculptors, also from 2D artists. Like 1990s Spider-Man, Venom, those really Spawn, those dark comic books. And I look at that and it's like, I can't draw, but what if I made that in 3D?
Right. I mean,
Which is crazy.
Your costumes are amazing.
Mask making is going in a whole new level this way in year or whatever, because like 3D printing, man, that's really changed the game big time from what I've seen. Like, used to have Don Post back in the days, like The Godfather, and everything you see, somebody sculpted that, and then now I'll see Mask and I'm like, holy shit, that is badass. What a talent. I'm like, wait a minute. He 3D printed that.
It was a robot.
So, yeah, a robot did that.
Damn it.
But, now, you just 3D print something and it looks exactly like there's, a lot of people like Jordy Shell and Andrew and those other guys and Jonathan, like their stuff looks 3D printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Baker's been posting something on Instagram that he's doing.
The killer guy?
What's that?
Is it the killer guy, the serial killer?
I'm not sure what it is. It's been in his 3D printer for a while. It's pretty detailed, I'm assuming. I don't know anything about 3D printing. I just know it takes a while.
Yeah.
I look at all those 3D printed masks, and I see those 3D printed things, and I just shake my head, and I'm like, I want one of those damn things.
I'd like to have a vacuum form.
Just click enter and then head out and go play golf. Come back.
Yeah. Hey, and see where the ADD is going to lead you there.
There's lots of other names being thrown out there in the chat too. John Lanning, of course, Ed Edmonds and Alan Hops, and all of that. And one of the things that I love seeing in here too is that lots of people are saying, well, I wish I could sculpt, I just build sets. Or some people can only draw stick figures but sculpt like mad people. And the deal is, try it. Even if you're not feeling great about something, just give it a shot. You never know what you might come up with and find that you've, come on to something that nobody else has ever done before.
And the thing is don't be discouraged if it doesn't look the way you want it to look this time. Just do it again. It'll look a little better, and then do it again, and it'll look a little better. And then eventually you'll find that you have, in a way, mastered the material to where you don't have to think about how to achieve a design. You just sort of can do it.
Right. I mean, that's kind of when I first started, I used the oil-based clay, but the soft oil-based clay, and that led me to start to work on something and be like, oh, this looks like shit, and I'd walk away and be mad, and then I'd come back and I could just warm it back up and just keep sculpting on it, and you don't have to worry about it drying out or whatever you want, and that helped me out. It's like just keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
You get frustrated, just walk away, and then come back with a new one. Have a few drinks, get drunk, and then it comes to you.
Hold on.
Or cold medicine,
Drink
that
and
works
sculpt.
too.
Tony, drink and sculpt. Write that down.
I got a bunch of notes.
I tell people all the time, I think the sculpting part of it is kind of the easy part, because you're making it in clay, and if you don't like what you're doing, you can start over or cut the nose off and make it different. My dog's making noise now. She's been out here wandering around the garage. Can you hear?
Pay attention to me.
She sounds like
What?
The dog's saying, no, don't cut off the nose. You spent all that time working on it. No, but Jim, I just wanted to close things up with you as far as, if anybody wanted to check out your work, where can they find it?
On my Facebook page, Evil J's Facebook page. I post a lot of pictures on there. Instagram, there's a ton of pictures on there. And the website is actually up now too. I'm still adding to it, but it is up. But I'll post on the Evil J's page. I post a lot of, I'll do time-lapse videos. I like to do time-lapse videos of painting and sometimes sculpting.
Nice. And then you're obviously, I know you mentioned it a couple times, but you're always open to commission work and stuff like that.
It's spelt like this.
Yeah.
People always get it wrong, but it's spelled like this. If I could go back in time, it would just be evil.
Right.
But I did evil because we live in Evansville, and I thought it would be a nice play on the town. but
It
it's been a
is.
pain in my ass ever since
You
because
know
it
what,
always
Jim?
gets
Hey,
so
Jim,
wrong.
we just asked you that question. Everybody knows who you are. We just do that out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they know who you are, Jim.
Dude,
They
Never
see
mind.
your work. man.
Everybody
But-
knows you, James.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
And now your dog.
And now my dog.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jim. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your knowledge into all this.
Yeah.
And keep up the great work, man. You got some unique shit there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Love your
Mhm.
stuff.
All right. Yeah. Chris, we're going to come over to you now. Talk a little bit more about your masks.
All right. So if you haven't, I have a thing for tentacles. we all have a kink, right?
Careful how you say that.
If you look at that one and then you look at the previous one with the one eyeball, like I said, a lot of my inspiration comes from that. Basically, when Lovecraftian horror are creatures that are polymorphous, they have many forms and they can shapeshift. So I really like taking, that, and I love the ocean. And I love the elements of the ocean, different designs and colors that the ocean can influence you with. So if you look at this guy, he's obviously, that's the Great Dreamer. He is, all those tentacles are made out of basically rolled up Wonderflex. And yeah, he's one of my favorite sculpts, honestly. I love that guy. I just made him on a whim because I kind of have this thing where I always have to have a Cthulhu mask when I go to a convention, and they always sell, so then I have to sculpt another one. Yeah, that guy's one of my favorites.
That dude's cool.
I was saying that I was muted, but that's a good thing to have that it keeps selling, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love those
Yeah, I
colors.
mean, the downside is...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's great. That, again, goes back to my Lovecraftian roots and the comic books I read as a kid, and that is my representation of time and space.
I can see it, man. I can see it.
Okay, I may have eaten some fungus, but whatever.
Rue wants to know if all your masks are
No,
one-offs then.
Straight cold medicine.
Well, here's the thing. You can order any design that I produce for the most part. Sometimes if someone asks me, hey, can you not make this again because it's a unique character for their haunt, I won't do it again. But, like, let's say you wanted to order that guy, I can make them again, but since they're all handmade, there will be mild variation.
Right. We got a question from someone in the audience that asked you if he was on shrooms when he made it.
That was his fungus.
The fungus.
When am I not?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get the vibes of the like undersea creatures and stuff like that, like the ocean, like you were talking about. A lot of these masks, I see that inspiration there for you.
Like an angler fish.
Yeah,
Like.
I was just thinking that'd be cool, a little light on top of it.
Yeah.
You know what? After I made that, I was like, I should rig a piping through there with an actual black light on that because the whole mask is black light.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some EL wire.
Now, yeah, that would be sick. See, when I was in college, my thesis was creating an underwater society. So, like, instead of gargoyles, it was like gross four-headed piranha, shit like that. So my masks often sometimes harken back to that same manner of thinking. Plus, I think I sent you a side profile of this. The thing I really like about this design, is how it changes the contour of the face.
I like that underbite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that angle changes the whole look of the mask.
You see that in a dark shadow, it's like that face isn't human,
Mm-hmm. Now, do you recommend wearing like a sock mask under yours to like kind of hide the mouth or paint the mouth black or something?
That's a preference. Some people, what I do is I usually get like those $4 baklavas or whatever they're called. Balaclava, something like that.
Belly cloth.
Yeah, those real thin ones that joggers wear that are just black. You look like Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
You just wear one of those underneath it, or you can just paint your face black.
Nice. Nice.
Shane says, I'll be showing all your stuff off to my boss. We all have 3D UV haunt with aliens.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty sick.
Dude, that was badass.
So this guy was in I believe he's in I think he's in an asylum, or he may be at the Hydro. I can't remember. But he wanted a clown that obviously was in a restraint like Hannibal Lecter. But he also wanted a collar with spikes on it, and he wanted it attached with chains. So basically with this guy, the whole so let's see. The faceplate, all the rivets, and the nose is all made out of Wonderflex. The neck piece is a piece of foam covered in Wonderflex to create a collar shape. And then on the shoulders, that's where I put the elastic so it wasn't actually choking him. So it separates at the shoulders with a little bit of elastic. That's what allowed the chains to hang freely.
Nice.
Is that a
Wow.
wearable mask?
That's unique. I've never seen something.
What's that?
Is that wearable or that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, it's on a black head.
Yeah, the reason it goes up in splits is because the actor had a mohawk and he wanted his mohawk to come out through the center there.
So the black part is the head form or whatever.
Oh, I got you. All right.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Sweet.
It's kind of like a Bane mask in the way it goes up the center. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is getting into the realm of my sci-fi roots. I got a call from what's that?
No, go ahead.
I got a call from Niles Haunted Theme Park in Michigan, and they needed a Cyberpunk Robot. It was on the spot, and I'm like, okay, I'll have something for you in a week. That's what I came up with. All the green is blacklight on him. And I don't know. I was watching Predator with Arnie, and I was like, dude, dreads would be sweet. How about dreads made out of tubes, man? How about he's like an assassin droid with Predator dreads?
Sweet. I'm not obviously a fan.
There's the mud.
Very cool.
But I like to not stick to one realm. If someone asks me for, and I won't do like a Darth Vader mask or anything like that because those are so perfect, and I don't want Disney coming after me. But if someone wants like a Five Nights at Freddy mask, sure, I'll take a stab at it. If someone wants some robot face from Borderlands, I do those too.
Danny would like to know if you have a favorite custom request that you've received.
Oh, favorite custom request was probably, well, actually that one earlier, the giant eyeball with the tentacles around it was a custom request, and I was really excited to do that one.
Right on. Another one would be paint you for this. Kenneth would like to know.
Ah, yes. Another one real quick is this guy right here. He's my version of the Red Death, Mask of the Red Death.
Oh, that's bad.
And he's completely blacklight, so he glows yellow and he glows bright red, like a blood red. And as for the type of paint I use, I get it from like Hobby Lobby, and it's like the extra neon, by Americana. Ah, the Wendigo.
Yeah, the Wendigo, yeah. I was gonna say the flesh look like that you tried to do with this is awesome.
Yeah, that's I'm a big fan of layering paint. And in this case, you probably have 3 or 4 shades of red with my favorite haunt sauce over top. that haunt sauce really makes basically by adding a little bit of pink under there and then building up with reds, like dry brushing reds and then more pinks and then a little bit of white and then adding the haunt sauce over it and letting that dry. It creates this muscle fiber look, this depth to it. And it adds that nice shine that I really liked.
All your stuff's like so unique. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, I wanted to put horns on him, but what are you going to do? I ran out of material. So that's... Yeah, on him, yeah.
I like the...
Now, this is that's
double teeth, man. That's awesome.
That's the clean version of the previous version. Both of them are separate sculpts. If you look at them back side by side, you can see the differences. But like, let's say you sculpted this one and the guy's like, I want him to look more damaged. I'll get a blowtorch out, torch half his face, mash it up with my dental tools and let it dry. And it'll look like scars and burns and melted flesh and stuff. Pretty sweet.
Nice. I love the different, like the size of the eyes. Like, I feel like that's become like a little signature of yours too. It's just like, having the different size eyes is awesome.
Yeah, and what I use is it's if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you go to where they have like screening, get the pet safe plastic screen, and it's like this real flexible plastic screen, and basically I can hot glue it to the back of the masks and then kind of melt it down so it's not poking you, and then I can paint on the mesh itself. So yeah, I always love having it's a zany look, having the two different sized eyes. It's unsettling in some cases.
Awesome, Chris. And where can we find all this work of yours? Give a little shout out.
My Facebook page is Polaris Breach FX. And I have if you want to look at all my work, I have a Google Drive link that I can like post, and that'll link you to my whole catalog. I don't have a website yet, but I'm working on that. But that's the best way to view all my work, and the best way to get a hold of me, of course, is through the business page.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can throw that link down in the comments. That would be cool.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you, Chris. Amazing work, man. One of a
Absolutely,
kind. Absolutely,
100%. Thank you, sir.
So awesome. All right, Tony.
Yes, guys, I'm here.
Okay, just making sure. You okay?
Sweet. Good deal.
Awesome sculpt.
Am I good? Am I in the frame?
Yeah, man. Perfect. Just like that.
Yeah.
I'm here, guys.
If you could hold that pose, it'd be awesome.
How'd you sculpt your eye like that? That's pretty good. No, it's real. Oh, it's real.
Hey, I just want to say that last Saturday night at Trans World, I get to hang out with Tony, and he's like this in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, and we know this.
Oh, okay.
For my magic tricks, that was my magic trick.
Hey, if you follow his live feeds, yeah, he's like that.
And he brought me a dongle too.
A dongle. I think I sucker's still in my pocket.
I got
Jim
the
Brown
body in my pocket.
Yeah, there it is. All right, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So, Tony, what's going on in these photos here that you got?
Is on the left. I had to do a White Walker. Whenever I first started watching the Game of Thrones, I was like, man, these White Walker guys are badass.
They are badass.
And I mean, like, most of my stuff is all like, I do a lot of custom commissions, but I have a waiting period or whatever, so I go down the line. So it's like I only have time to work on orders that I've already got ordered that I need to fill. but I got so many cool stuff in my head that I'm like, man, I want to sculpt this. So White Walker was one of those. I was like, man, somebody orders that. I think I even put that on Facebook for a White Walker. And so that was it. That was
Hold on, Phil. Was that the Scarecrow from Batman?
Yes. I didn't even mean for it to be. I thought, well, I'm gonna do burlap. So I want a regular full head instead of just using straight burlap. So that way it's not itching your skin and stuff when you wear it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I glued the burlap to the latex. So then it's just like wearing a latex mask, you know. And I started gluing burlap on there, and everybody's like, "Oh, damn, that looks like Batman something." Or I was like,
Oh, Scarecrow, yeah. There were quite a few people that were asking about burlap tonight too.
and according to what people say, like this is pretty accurate. So I started making it real accurate to the movie because they said like the world needs an accurate one or something. So that's what I made. And this is my favorite mask right here.
I love how you got the hair down low like that. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's my Slipknot Iowa clown, and you know, on tour, clown used to pull his hair out the ear holes. So that's exactly how he would look wearing the mask, you know. But it's Slipknot stuff. It's kind of hard to do because people are like accurate. So you have to. There's no room for error. You know, you have to like really sculpt it exact. You know, the better it looks, the more you sell. But it's also another, you know, they'll tear you a new one, man, if you're if you don't have a very accurate sculpt, you know, it gets brutal. But like people are saying, whatever anybody says, you know, I love doing what I do, so that's why I do it. And people tell you it sucks, or people tell you it's awesome, you know, and I just keep going. Don't let people tell you that, you know, you're not talented or, you know, you need to find something else to do. Like, I learn something new every time I sculpt something. So you just keep going and keep going and keep going, you know, and eventually they'll stop saying shit like that to you, you know?
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's kind of like what we were saying earlier. Just got to try it. No matter whether you think you can or you can't, just try it. And
try it.
Kevin,
be the next Andrew Freeman.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless you
or, you know, try to sculpt some clay or something. You never know.
Absolutely.
But all right, this guy here, the earlier I was telling you about the Krampus, this is the same exact mold, except I have the horns turned down.
Looks
you know,
totally different.
It looks
nice.
It looks two different masks, you know.
Right.
So it's the exact mold. And
is that more of the cotton?
I'm
moving in for a closer look. Is that more of the cotton and the latex on the forehead?
Yes, I was fixing to say that. Okay, see the pentagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
The pentagram. Whenever I first, I had a lot of people like, oh, you need a demon. So this is what I came up with. This is one of my very first sculpts too. Like, I look at it and I'm like, God, that's terrible. But you know, other people tell me it's cool, so I just keep making them. But a lot of people, you know, just don't want the pentagram on it. A lot of people do want the pentagram on it. So you can't really change the mold. So I don't have a pentagram in the mold, and I add the pentagram with cotton and latex.
Did you sculpt the teeth or did you?
Yeah, they're all sculpted.
Man, that's nice.
I learned, like I said, I learned a lot each sculpt. When I first started sculpting, all sculpts looked like really basic and flat and just, you know, boring and bland. And then I started reading more books about anatomy, skull structure, and, you know, muscle structure and stuff like that. And then if you incorporate that into the sculpt, it makes your, you know, like instead of having just a flat nose or a flat. Right. So that's what I try to learn on each sculpt is like what's underneath there. You know, you got to think there's a skull under there somewhere.
Right.
So it's a good way to have a point of reference.
Yeah. So you know, your teeth ain't way down here, your nose up here. You know,
right?
you know that your teeth are, so you think about the proportion, I guess you would
Do
say.
you guys have a favorite? You guys have a favorite website or somewhere where you guys go to for that?
For what? The anatomy?
Yeah, the anatomy.
Oh, I just Google it. I'll Google like muscle structure, muscle tone, and then that'll give me where I know, like, if I do a sculpt where his mouth is open, then you see you got muscles right here and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just Google it. Whatever I'm looking at, I got an iPad on here on my sculpting the station over here, and I'll just Google what I want to look at and just look at it. That's what I do.
Yeah, I go on Pinterest and I'll look up like old men faces or old lady faces or eyeballs or lips and there's just gobs of pictures.
Now, Tony,
is this? And the thing is, you can look up like a photorealistic muscle structure of, say, the cheekbone. But then you can tame it back a little bit and look up maybe one that's a little more just like hand-drawn, just to get those basic structures before you try to tackle the full-on realism.
Or you can even, a lot of times, you could even put like skull sculpture and Google the images, and you can see an actual sculpture, and you're like, okay, well, this is how it would look in clay. Like, you get the actual visual effect. And like y'all were saying earlier, sometimes you get frustrated on sculpting, you gotta walk away. Like, a lot of times what helps me is I'll take a picture of it on my phone, and then I'll go back and zoom in and look at the photo, and you'd be surprised, like, you'll see a lot more in the photo than you see, I do anyway. So that helps me a lot, and I'll zoom in and go, oh yeah, okay, I need to change this right here, and then I'll go to the sculpt.
I think it's easier to see the differences in symmetry, like where your eyes are located. You might have one in too far or one out too far, or one ear unlevel if you take a picture, or if you take a mirror and you look at it, hold the mirror here and look at it in the mirror. For whatever reason, you can see all those differences if you look at it in a mirror as opposed to looking at the actual sculpture.
That's very true.
Or if you back away from it.
I've always heard that. I guess it's the same by looking at a picture. You're still looking at, it's not the actual sculpt. So you're looking at something else. Man, it's like, oh, this is like shit.
Hey, Tony, quick question for you from Edie. She's dying over here. Could she see the mask behind you with the hands on the head? Pretty please, and pretty please, and pretty please with sugar on top.
Okay, one more sugar on top. All right.
Sugar on top, honey, cherries and all the goodness.
It's that one. This guy right here.
Oh, there you go. See, Phil's got it up right now.
Are those jazz hands?
Okay, I told you, it gets creepy in my mind sometimes.
Well, there you go.
Oh, look at that. Jaw moves.
Yeah, you can move the jaw. I can't get it tightened down. But like if you talk, but
nice.
My hair's all jacked up. My hair's jacked up.
I see you got the jaw move without putting straps on it.
Well, because I put a piece of foam in the chin, so it kind of holds it to your chin. Oh. But then I just latex. See, I just cut it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Just to where it's it's not going to tear. Like this RD407 is really good stuff, so it's not going to tear. So I just made it, cut it all the way up the side just to where it kind of moves on its own. Surprise, it moves really easy.
Oh, so you just put the foam at the jaw.
Yeah. Foam.
Oh, that's a secret right there.
That Tony Buck's a genius.
That's right. You like my strong hand? You want me to use my strong hand? There it is. It's for sale, Edie.
Right on. It's for sale, Edie.
Oh, dude, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah. See, there's another one. That's I do a lot of Slipknot Masks, obviously. that's from the Devil and I video. And Mick, in the video, Mick has got his mask on. Well, then he just starts peeling the mask off. I don't know if y'all are too familiar with Slipknot videos, but he just starts ripping it off, and there's like this bloody gore underneath there. And I was sitting there like, that is really cool. That would make a badass mask. So I made it.
Is that a Christian band?
Nice.
It is. And,
Oh.
we have Bible studies on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we were talking about a Christian Rick Bloody Mick Thompson mask. So this is what I came up with,
They're very frustrated.
I was reading my Bible. Yeah, this is a custom commission. This was somebody asked me, they said, we see a lot of Pennywise masks, but he's always got his mouth closed or he's just smiling. He's like, I want one that where it's open, like a photo. So, that thing was, man.
Mm-hmm.
Which this is halfway through. I still had a lot more sculpting after that, but
Sure.
that thing was a nightmare. That's the one that you see, the final product on the other photo where I'm, with the wish clown and Twisty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was.
Well, I love seeing the work in progress stuff because the stages that helps all of us as we learn.
And, oh yeah, and that's you sit there and you look at it like that other photo. It's like, okay, well this looks cool, but then you give it a little bit, and just keep tweaking it. I mean, it always, like Jim said, turns out completely different. I always give it just another day or two, and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I did not stop sculpting. Because you'd be surprised how much more you can add to it when you think it's done. Like there's a lot of times I'm like, I just stop sculpting. That's it. And walk
I think
away.
it's fun how one little line, like you might be working on something, and it's really not going the direction that you want. You know it's in there. You just can't quite get to it. You can't find it. And then one little line or a wrinkle or something, and you're like, oh wait a minute, there it is. And you just and it's like then you can just go from there, and it just like kind of sculpts itself at that point.
Nice.
To me, it's like turning a knob and like focusing a photo. Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
I'll look at it and I'm like, it just doesn't quite look like what I want. That looks like shit. There's so many times I'm like, I'm scrapping this one. I'm just never gonna get it. And then I may smash a little bit of clay here or add a little bit there. And then all of a sudden it's almost like it just comes into focus. I'm like, holy shit, it is like that. Okay, that's it.
There it is. Yeah,
sometimes
Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
No, I was like you said, it could be something as minute as just moving an eyebrow down a little bit. You're like, oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it.
There it is.
Right.
I said that earlier. I was talking about how I tend to sculpt slow, and sometimes I think that works out better for me because I'll add stuff that if I would have done it faster when I started it, maybe I wouldn't have done that. Like the alien baby making the ear bent like it is. When I first started sculpting that, both the ears were back. And while I was working on it, I went, and I pulled the ear down. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. That's a nice little touch on him. So I ended up leaving it there. And had I rushed through it, or maybe started it 2 weeks before that, maybe I wouldn't have added that little touch.
Yeah, nothing worse than looking at one of your latex pulls and you're like, shit, if I just push that down a little bit more on the sculpt, if I had a time machine, go put one line right here, that'd have been so much more cooler.
Harold would
you
like
guys
to know
ever
how long
find...
you actually spend on a sculpt.
To me, it just depends on how intricate it is, like half mask or, the longest sculpt I've ever had is probably my Michael Myers. I did a mashup of the H40 and the Buried, which Michael Myers is one of the hardest freaking masks to sculpt. I don't care who you are. Like that thing.
Oh, yeah.
You got to make it look like, Captain Kirk first. And, it's just, it's a nightmare. And that one took 2 months. That's probably the longest I've spent on a sculpt. 2 months.
Oh, I started a set of monster hands to go with my Frankenstein. They're big. They're big giant hands I make, and I sculpted on. I hate hands. hate making hands. So it always takes me even longer to make hands because I hate them so bad. But I started making them, and I had them kind of how I wanted them to look, and just got so burnt out on it, I covered them up and left them sit. Well, then my sister-in-law took them, and she took them to her house, and she worked on them for a while, and she got them looking really good, and they were real close to molding. This is the span of probably like 2 years, and these are wet clay, so I have to keep re-spritzing and getting them wet and recovering them.
2 years?
Well, yeah, it's a long time.
Wow.
She got them done, and she brought them over to me, and I put them on my table here, and I covered them up because I was real busy and I didn't have time to mold them yet. So I covered them all up, and they sit here in the corner. And in the meantime, I had bought a great big shop fan for the garage because it gets so hot here in the summertime. And I guess I misjudged just how much air that fan moved because it completely dried the hands out to where they were falling apart. Pieces of them were falling apart. They cracked so bad.
Damn.
So I had to put them in a bucket of water and let them soak for a day to get malleable. Is that the right word? So I could rework them and then fix them a third time and then finally mold them. So it was about a 2.5 year process to make those hands. Yeah, it was a long time.
Brown, I do custom commissions. I'm only about a 16-week wait. So next time you need some big ass hands,
I'll hit you up. Have you made hands?
My longest single sculpt was 18 hours.
Damn.
Wow.
And it was, I think I sold, this one's about 12 hours. I don't know if you can see.
Got me beat.
Damn.
I don't know. Sometimes I just get in a zone and it's like, well, guess I'm taking the Adderall tonight. I mean, drinking some coffee.
Explains a lot.
Awesome.
Chad would like to know how often do you guys look at a casting and wish you would have made a change that you didn't see in the initial sculpt?
Every time.
Every time. I knew that was coming.
Yep.
every single time. I've said it to myself 9 times on the show.
Yeah, about every time, I'd say.
Oh, that's
Tony.
just
That one on the far end there. That's from Hell House LLC.
Yeah,
That's
That's
on.
a Hell-
I'm watching. I got
So
that
can
on
you
right
force
now.
force that full screen. Awesome.
that one actually, man. To tell you the truth on that one, I was trying to do it. It kind of evolved from a clown mask. I was trying to do like just a generic mold, like basically of a human male head.
Yeah.
That I could just use, and I could use as just a base for a lot of other stuff,
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that never heard of Hell Clown, and then all of a sudden, somebody said, "Hey, man, I'd like to order a Hell House clown. Can you do that?" And I was like, "Well, send me the photo." And I looked at the photo, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that looks almost exact identical to this guy sculpt I just did." So that's it's not exact same as Hell House, but it's pretty close. Like,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I knew what it was by looking at the picture.
yeah, I didn't even mean for it to happen that way. I just, when I painted it up that way, and it looks pretty close. I did the collar and everything to go with it, but I didn't even mean for that to happen. It was a fluke.
That's a creepy ass creature or character
Clown. Yeah,
in that movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's that's a group photo. I was at a party tonight for all my friends. I was hanging out. Just hanging out with all my friends.
Singing. My children.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tony. Where can we find all this work of yours?
I do a lot of stuff on Etsy. I got a website. It's under construction. I'm, as you say, but a lot of my stuff I have an Etsy store is a lot that I sell through. So you can either go to my Etsy store. I do. You can private message me. I do a lot of Messenger and stuff like that. But it's Tony I believe Tony Buck effects on it. But then I also have.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
My card. Let me get the card.
Is it Tony or is it Zony?
Now we're back to the shroom thing.
Hey, man.
Hell, this don't even say. Tony Buck Effects Studios on Facebook is my studio page. I have a personal page, Tony Buck, where like we do like Bible studies and stuff.
Yeah, your ass.
Is all my or stuff. Then just be honest. Just Google Tony Buck. You'll find it.
Right.
Tony
Awesome.
Buck. Google it and you'll find something.
Tony Buck.
Very cool.
That's
Thank you very much, Tony. Guys, thank you for coming on tonight and sharing everything that you've done tonight. If you don't mind, like we mentioned earlier, just in the comments, if you guys can go back, answer some of the questions we might have missed, or in the case of Chris, dropping your Google Photo Drive thing that you had. We appreciate you guys coming on tonight. We really do. And I'm going to pass it over now to Pandora to see who won some amazing prizes tonight. So without further ado.
Before she falls out of her
Indeed.
chair.
Yes, before I fall out of my chair because my cold medicine's wearing off now. Yes, it is. It is. Thank you so much, Jim, Chris, and Tony. You guys are amazing. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us and your tips and tricks. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And thank you again to our sponsors who have provided all these fantastic prizes for y'all tonight that have asked questions. Thank you for participating, audience. We appreciate you. And without further ado, our winners tonight are Toxic Effects, Stack O'Jacks, Damon Carson, Scarrett Badges, 10 assorted badges, Jill Buck.
Oh, that's fake.
She don't let me clap. She don't let me clap, so I gotta sit here.
Yeah, you gotta sit there. Hold your applause till after the winners have been announced. Thank you very much.
Can I whistle?
All right, fine. Jill Buck, Scarrett Badges, 10 assorted, Horror Ornaments, Bioskull, Bob Connors, Yo Bob C, Bright Night Studios, Shrunken Pumpkin, Edie Blunser, 916 Productions, $25 off, Craig Hoffman, Halloween Shirt Company, free shirt, Melissa Bordner.
Hey, please give
You
your
got good
size
shirts.
too when you.
Huh?
I said,
What?
make sure when they tell me they give you the size because they're like.
Melissa, give Diablo your size, Melissa.
Yeah, I don't have any size. He's like, I don't have sizes for anybody. I'm like, oh damn.
All right. So from here on out, whoever wins the Halloween Shirt Company free shirt, you must also send Jose your shirt size when you send him your address.
Right.
Please and thank you.
Makes sense,
Jill.
right?
All right. Froggy's Fog, Gallon of Bog Fog, Paul Martin, Ned's LEDs, 5-pack of LEDs, Tim Frank, Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off to Jake Moran. Nightmare Makers, 2 Unfinished Skulls, Steve Haynes. Sam Haynes, free download. Yes, that confused me when I wrote it down. The cold medicine got me. Tony Liberatore. Atmos Effects, free download, Ted Dennison. Fright Props, $25 off, Tim Johnson. Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms, Erica Jones. Monsters Alive, $25 off, Chad Smith. And Cobwebs and Candlesticks, Grab Bag Surprise, Chuck Melton. Yay, dollar winners!
Hey, don't forget VFX is a sponsor, but they're going to give away one big gift at the season finale.
Yes, VFX Creates. Yes, they are a sponsor. They are giving away a massive gift for our season finale. So make sure y'all continue to tune in and continue to ask questions of our guests. And thank you all so much for being here. And again, if you've won a prize, please make sure you contact Diablo by Saturday evening with your address and shirt sizes. Melissa.
Sizes. Hey,
I think Tony
hey, one
needs something.
One more thing. we appreciate that all our sponsors come to us, but if there is anybody that's selling something that's similar to our sponsors, we do not condone like bashing. We appreciate that you're buying from them, but I mean, if somebody's selling this similar stuff, please don't bash them for that. That's not what the Hangout's about. We appreciate everybody.
Absolutely.
So
we're a community. We don't bash everybody.
Yeah,
we support and encourage everybody. We're all here for the same purpose.
The sponsors because they're giving it, but please don't bash any other vendors for selling things similar, please.
Yep. Here.
Go ahead, Tony.
For sake of the comments, you said like one of the guys that won something, Jake Moran or something like that. So if he's still watching, I'm curious if it's the same Jake that I sold my Thug Life glasses to at Transworld. So
unknown Jake Moran, get in touch with Tony so that
you
he
got my
gets
Thug
the
Life
answer to his question. Yeah.
Put on the glasses.
Here he is. Me, I sold my Thug Life glasses.
So we appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are like amazing sculptors. That's why you're here on the show. You guys all have your own unique style, and we appreciate you guys coming on and sharing all your knowledge. And thank you very much.
All right, and one last thing I'm going to add to this real quick is when you receive your gift, guys, please share it to the Hangout. Show the support.
There you go.
Get it out there, and let's support our sponsors and anybody in the community. So thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you so much.
And we're
next week.
Jim Brown, glad you got to see me, brother.
Yeah, me too, buddy.